First up this evening, we have a guest, Maya Reese McDonald, the CEO of the Blessing Box Initiative, will introduce herself to us and tell us about her organization.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for the invite. I try to keep my stuff pretty simple. I'm going to go over who we are, what we do, how we do it, and then I do have some folders that have information. Also, you're more than welcome to ask me questions, okay? So I am Maya Reese. I started the Blessing Boxes about maybe 6 months before COVID. It was one of those things to where I remember as a single mother just kind of trying to make it work, and it wasn't working. I ended up making an appointment, going like, if I could just get some food stamps, you know what I mean? I had 2 girls at home, was just trying to make it work. I went into the office, even though I had an appointment at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and I sat all day. And they told me, we don't have time to see you. I'm like, but I took off work. I can't afford to take off work, and okay, we'll come back tomorrow. We'll get you in first thing in the morning. I came back. It was the same thing. I stayed all day. Well, I had called off work that day, right? Okay. That wasn't looking good. Then I never saw anyone. I had to come back again the next day. Yes, I got wrote up when I got back to work. But I was told when I left that office that I had to sell this horrible car that barely worked, but got me and my kids to school, daycare, and work. I had to sell all their savings bonds and come back in 6 months, and they'd consider giving me $23 in food stamps. I was devastated, and I felt like a number when I left that building. I felt like no one there actually saw me as a human being. And that affected me. I was in my mid-20s, and that affected me for a long time. And I would always be the person, or try to be the person, that if nothing else, I would feed you. People knew they could come to my house. I'll feed you if nothing else. I ended up kind of worming my way into community, and that was in Columbus. When I moved up here to come back to Canton, it's because I was a single mother still, because I'm raising my oldest grandchild who has special needs and all of these things, and I needed help. And God gave me a vision that I was supposed to do what was done for me. Somebody was supposed to help somebody. So what I did was, I had remembered when I was in Columbus, they have a great network there. And I started asking questions of the person that built that network, who sent me to her sister, who had a bigger network down south. They kind of walked me through some things. And after 6 months of going back and forth and trying to figure out what screws went where and how to do things, someone stepped up and said, hey, I'll build you a box. And I was like, I don't know what it's supposed to look like. So he built me a box. That first box went in North Canton, where I was living at that time. And 6 months later, COVID hit hard. And after that, within 3 months, I had 6 boxes. We are in our 7th year this year. And in the last 14 months, we have doubled in size. We are all the way up to Cleveland and down to Carrollton. Just recently, we put our first box in Akron, and it is at my church right down the street. And a little bit of how we work. A Blessing Box. It is a single cabinet in community. It's about the size of a cabinet in your home, on legs, usually, okay? Anyone can walk up to this cabinet and take something or put something in. We ask that it is non-perishable items, food items, household cleaners, hygiene supplies, any of that, okay? What I do is I just kind of maintain all of the boxes. Anything that's within Canton city limits, we do supply. Yeah, we try to supply everything that goes in them, but that doesn't always work for us. In the last 3 months, we went from 8 volunteers to 24. Yay! And I gotta get them stuff. And how we do that is pretty simple. We go in the community and say, hey, can you do a supply drive for us? Which means, hey, put a box out at your location, whatever organization, business, and anyone in community can come in and drop off, or you can do it internally. Like, say your business is like, well, we really don't want people coming in, okay? But we, as a business here, we will donate. And a little bit about who we serve. We serve anybody. I really don't care who you are. That's the reason it's made the way it's made. Every one of these boxes is outside, with the exception of, there is one we help with in Talmadge that is in a laundromat. It's a table. We supply it. It doesn't matter. They're not on our registry. The idea is that autonomy, that I can go somewhere. I don't have to worry about who's looking at me. I don't have to worry about, oh, I've got a nice car and people are going to think. Also, it's a way to empower people who have to depend on food pantries. It's hard sometimes when you have to go to a food pantry and you're not able to pick what you get. You're just not. You are able to get what they have available for you. Well, guess what? Some kids ain't eating it. People are allergic. And then people go, well, what do I do with this? I don't want to throw this out. Well, no, you don't. Well, you have a place to put it. So the general model of all blessing boxes across the world is take what you need, leave what you can. Okay, so with that, we do partner with different organizations, schools. We sometimes work with YMCAs to make what we call blessing bags, where we put kind of a microwavable meal in there, maybe a bottle of water, some snacks, things like that. We really do a lot of that for our downtown Y in Canton. That's the Eric Snow Y. We have a lot of unhoused children roaming the streets after school or whatever because, well, we can't get into the shelter until here, or this is going on or whatever. So they will come in and they can get a bag and they can at least get some sort of dinner. We try to stay educated in community and see what's going on. We work with any organization that is open to helping community. I don't really care who you are. If you're helping people, we want to be involved. We work with our diaper bank. I don't know if the Heart of Ohio Diaper Bank is up here, but we work with them. We collect for them. We send people to them. We also do the best we can to educate ourselves on everything from fetal mortality and how that impacts people, to mental health, anything that is going on with different communities. We want to make sure that we are learning about it so that we know how best to serve them. Also, we like to have those conversations. We like to go out in community to different resource fairs and things like that and have those conversations with those people that come in, because if you don't ask people what they need, you're going to give them what you feel they need, which may not be the correct thing. And that happens more often than we like. We have really good intentions. But if you're not homeless and living in your car, you sure don't know what that person needs. And that's how we see it. Let me see. I think that's kind of my spiel. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Zion Apostolic, or Zion Faith. It's right down the same street that I just forgot the name of. Thanks, yeah. Yeah, it's in our parking lot in the back. There's a bus stop. In fact, I'm going there when I leave here. I am in talks with, I don't know if you've heard of Rubber City Church. I'm in talks with them to do some things with them also. People have kind of reached out, but I think for some people it can be overwhelming because I cannot supply all of the supplies for them. Sometimes that's hard. So we try to broker relationships with churches, other organizations, so that if someone takes on a box, we'll do the best we can. If I have to come up here, then I'll come up here. We try to support however we can, because we would rather have that box there, because 9 times out of 10, the community will start, you will see that the community will start really, really putting back. Even people who have very little, they take pride in the fact that they can do for others. It really does. It makes a big difference, because I have a volunteer right now. When I met her 6 years ago, she was in a homeless shelter. Someone said, hey, I got this friend and they don't have any food. They lost their home. There's all these things going on. She now has a box at her house that she owns. And she also fills another box. So it works. Building that community and that relationship works. And relationship for me is what is the most important when it comes to these boxes and the people that we encounter.
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. McDonald, it just absolutely amazes me what you've done. We've all read the article that was in Signal about,
Yes, sir.
about the blessing box, and that's why the Chief of Staff was asked to call you and to bring you here so you could tell us your story, and we could just tell you how amazed we are by what you've done and what you continue to do.
Thank you. I do appreciate
Thank
it. Anybody else?
Anybody else? Yeah, I just want to echo the thank you.
Oh, there you are. I didn't see your mouth moving. I'm sorry.
It's a wonderful project, and I appreciate what you're doing for the community.
Well, I thank you very
you.
much. I'm going to drop off these folders wherever you want me to.
Give them to Mark.
Okay. And then you're more than welcome, and it has all of our information. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if somebody says, hey, I'd like a box, please call me. We really want to be here because we know there's a need, and we know that you care about your city, in your county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to open the public hearing for the Springfield Lake Outlet, County Ditch number 45. And I'll read in a statement. The petitioner will present to the council, and then we will also swear in anybody who wishes to speak for or against the petition in front of us. So let me begin by reading that the petition is for the Summit Lake Outlet for the county to clean, remove obstructions from, regrade, restore, reconstruct, stabilize the drainage course, and install channel improvements to mitigate future erosion, scour, and flooding. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and ask anybody who is going to speak on the petition today to please be sworn in by the court reporter who is over here to my right. Anybody wishing to speak for or against, or for the petition?
I do.
Great, thank you. David, it's yours.
All right, good evening. Yes, I am here, two roles, I guess, to represent Springfield Township trustees who are the petitioner for this project, and then and basically to say that, yes, they are still wishing for the project to go forward. And then as the representative from the Summit County Engineer, I have a presentation, a short presentation on the project. And I previously did provide the final report on this project to council. That report consisted of, I'm going to list off the attachments, were attachment A, the petition, B, the engineer's opinion of probable cost of construction, C, a letter of review and approval from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, D, the schedule of damages, compensation for easements and assessments, E, the easement dedication plat, and F, the construction plans. Basically the culmination of about a year's worth of work on this project by our engineering consultant, DLZ, and our office. The project area is basically the portion of the Springfield Lake outlet within Springfield Township. It starts actually just on the township line with the village of Lakemore, continues then north to the Akron Corp line. I leaned on the button. As described by Mr. Wellhite, the project involves cleaning obstructions from the channel, regrading a portion of it, rebuilding some banks so that we have better flow in this channel. The channel was basically worked on during the WPA days and I think in the 30s and 40s, and hasn't been really maintained since then. We have not had any revenue source to do maintenance, and the easement there has not been adequate. So as part of this project of restoring it, we will make sure we have enough easements to get to the stream and include some new access easements from the road to the stream. And then when we do this, there'll be less flooding and less erosion along the channel. The total project cost is right now estimated to be $1,650,000. That, of course, will be subject to change when the actual construction bids are received. The Surface Water District has paid for all the planning, design, easements, permitting, and construction costs for the project. And we do want to point out our appreciation to council for setting money aside for the Surface Water District to do these priority projects. We will have continued revenues then to cover the maintenance for the project. And we are following the ditch petition process, Ohio Revised Code 6131, which is why we're having this hearing tonight. And here's some of the steps for the engineering for the project. Hired a consultant in 2023, and they've done field reconnaissance, conceptual planning, preliminary plan, and then final plans resulting in the final plans and easement plat, which were completed last month. Now the easements on this project basically follow along and overlap the existing easement along the stream. The existing easement is only 33 feet wide, which is not enough to encompass the entire stream and the banks and an access path next to the stream. So we will be able to access this stream and keep it maintained once this project is done. There are 22 easements from different owners, and those are shown on a plat drawing that was provided. Also along this easement is a riparian corridor established by the county, I think roughly 10 years ago, which limits what development can occur near a waterway. And it's within the FEMA flood zone, which of course also limits what could be done along the waterway. So we did hire a professional independent appraiser, Smith Advisory Group, and they determined the value of each easement. They viewed the land, they did their research on the tax records and property value comparisons, and came up with a value for each easement. The owners were notified both by the clerk of council of each meeting There was a public viewing, a first hearing, and this final hearing. They were also notified of the assessment, of the easement compensation amounts. The same table does show the assessments amounts, which are zero on this project. There is no assessment. And this is hard to read, but you have been provided a better copy of the easement compensation. And I do have a summary. There were a number of easements were, as I said, 22, and the compensation total is $73,025 for those 22 easements. This is a title sheet of the easement plat and the title sheet of the improvement plans. And again, the full sets were provided to you earlier this month. Here are the steps that we've gone through with this project as a petition project. Started in January of 2025 when Springfield Township trustees signed a petition for improvements. Then we went through the public viewing, first hearing, design, final report May 2026, which brings us to tonight, which is a final hearing presentation of the formal presentation of documentation. The next step then after this hearing was closed, there will be legislation offered to council to accept the plans, the easement plat, and the compensation, and to authorize the engineer to proceed with bidding the project. That will be read in on the 15th, and we hope that would be adopted on the 29th. And again, there's, as every step of the way, a process available for an owner to appeal council action. On this project, there were no exceptions to the compensation or objections to the project filed with the clerk within the time allotted, which ended 5 days before tonight. So any appeal would have to go through through court action at this time. They could go to the Court of Common Pleas, and that's their only action. They really can't sway you tonight. They didn't meet the deadline. And I have also here 8 factors, I hope you had time to read, for your consideration on whether the project is going to be something that is beneficial to the public and to the surrounding property owners. It regards the cost of the project and location. On this project, there is really no other location. It's along an existing waterway. The compensation, again, that was made by independent appraiser. They determined the values, and if anybody were to challenge a value, they really should have it appraised themselves. They can't just come forward and say they don't like the amount, you know. The effect on the land along the project. On this project, we're making the stream perform more efficiently, removing obstructions, and the effect will be that there'll be less flooding in some of the low-lying areas next to this to the stream. Land below the lower terminus. That terminus then is within the city of Akron, and they have done studies of their portion of the stream as it continues on its way to the Little Cuyahoga River. I know they've replaced some bridges along the way, and we don't see a major increase in flow to Akron. That addresses also the sufficiency of the outlet. As I mentioned, benefits to public welfare were improved water quality in the stream because there'll be less sediment, and also reduced elevations during the floods because of the removal of the debris and the log jams and so forth. the water can flow more efficiently. So then finally, we've determined that the cost of the improvement is much less than the value of the structures along the project, which were 23 commercial properties and 17 residential, and 1 open space parcel. We feel the project is necessary and it is conducive to the public welfare. I can answer any questions you might have on the project at this time.
Do any members of the committee or council have any questions at this point? Ms. Darrow?
Just, my question is, do they already require them to have flood insurance in that area?
I'm not sure. I believe this is, the flood insurance is,
She's telling me yes back here.
if
I
it's
was-
a
yeah, 'cause I
FEMA
was just-
floodplain, yeah.
Right, that's why I was asking, because because of the FEMA. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
David, that begs the question, if they have to carry flood insurance and we're making this improvement, does that help the landowners with their cost of the insurance because there's been an improvement?
On this particular project, it was not included in our scope to have the engineer recalculate the flood levels. That could be done if it becomes apparent that it's made a benefit. That is something that we did on the Copley Ditch project, and we'll talk about that at that hearing next week. I will follow up and report to you what our engineer says about this project, if it is likely to have much impact on the FEMA flood maps. I know the process for that is you have to build the project and then perform modeling of the project before and after, and have the FEMA engineers review it to determine if they will change their flood maps.
Okay.
But I will get back to you on what our engineer says about that.
Any other questions for Mr. Coons? Oh, Bethany?
Thank you. So are all 3 trustees in agreement with all the aspects of our plan?
They are. Well, they are. They all signed the petition
Right.
to bring the project forward. I have spoken only to one of the trustees recently, but they have been notified that this hearing was tonight. And the trustees asked that I go ahead and speak on their behalf tonight, and they were welcome to come as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from members of council or the committee? Okay, hearing that, Mr.
Okay,
Coons,
thank you.
At this point, I will call for any proponents of the petition. You're welcome to come forward and speak. Any proponents? I will ask 3 times, and then we'll move on. Second time, anybody wishing to speak in favor? And third time's the charm, anybody wishing to speak in favor? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move on to give the opportunity to opponents of the petition. If you wish to speak, you will have to stand and be sworn in and give your name and address. Second time, anybody wishing to speak against the petition. Okay, and final, anybody wishing to speak against the petition? Okay, hearing or seeing none, we will move on. One final opportunity for council members, if you have any questions on the 8 factors that were presented to you on why this was selected. Anybody have any concerns or questions on that? Okay. Okay, a final decision, as Mr. Coots mentioned in his presentation, will come in the weeks ahead through an action of the committee. And at this point, there's no other issues to come before this hearing, so I will declare the hearing closed at 5:01 p.m. Thank you. Ready? Okay. And at this time, I'm going to open the Public Works Committee at 5:01. We have one item on the agenda to read in. That's 2026-157, an amended resolution authorizing the executive to enter into a cooperative funding intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Lakemore for the rehabilitation of sanitary sewer lines as part of the Q970-1 Lakemore Infrastructure Improvements Project in an amount not to exceed $321,705 located in the Village of Lakemore in Council District 8 for the Executive Department of Sanitary Sewers and declaring an emergency. Mr. Vinay.
Thank you, Chair Michael Vinay, Director of Sanitary Sewer Services for Executive Eileen Shapiro. Previously, Council passed Resolution 2026-116, which allowed us to enter into this intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Lakemore. If you remember, this is a lining project and a manhole replacement project that we are joining forces with the village. Obviously, we did not include the Q number with this project, and that number is very important to us as it helps us track the project, align all the project documents, as well as line them up with both plans and specifications. That Q number tells us both that it's a public project, and that number itself tells us the area the project's located in, so it's important to have that number included in the legislation. Happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Vinay from members of the committee? Members of council? Oh, Christine, did you have a question? Okay, may I have a motion? Ms. Hyam moves on 2026-157. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will close Public Works at 5:03.
Planning and Economic Development will open at 5:03. Our only piece tonight is 2026-158, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Rycon Construction, Inc. for the Department of Public Safety and Emergency Management Build-Out Project located in the City of Talmadge in Council District 6 in an amount not to exceed $672,725 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services Physical Plants and declaring an emergency. Joe Eckenrode.
Good afternoon, Council. Joe Eckenrode, Physical Plants under the County Executive's Office. This project's going to do a build-out up at Dispatch in Talmadge to house EMA and also a crime center. We had 7 bids come back in. We had a real good turnout on this project. We came in over $300,000 less than our project budget number, bid authorization of $1 million. Rycon, they're new to the county, but they're a very large company. They have nine offices across the country, and they're going to be doing this work out of the Cleveland office. They've done several $100 million over the past 3 years in Northeast Ohio, so they're more than willing and capable to handle this project. We're going to recommend Rycon gets this as they were the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Eckenrode? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Wilhite on 2026-158. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Mr. Nelson, do you have an update for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna get council an email this week. This is a property sale that really came up in the last month or so. In speaking with the DD board, they are interested in selling their facility in Barberton. They went out, got an appraisal. Appraisal came back. They negotiated a sale of the property with the city of Barberton. Property is titled in the county's name. So I'm going to get you guys an email with all of the particulars. I'm not sure yet if it's going to be a sales agreement or a term sheet that we're going to bring in for approval. Mr. Dotson's working on that on behalf of the city I guess I got to find out who he's representing in this particular transaction, quite honestly. So this came up, it really just was finalized in the last week or so. I'll get you guys the particulars. It'll come on the 15th. We're not looking for first reading passage, so it'll go through the regular course. So we'll get everybody in to talk about it. I just wanted to make you aware because I think there are already headlines hitting the paper about this, and I believe Barberton City Council is discussing this tonight as well.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
If there's no other business, Planning and Economic Development will close at 5:06.
Health and Human Services Committee will open at 5:06. We have 3 items on the agenda tonight, but before we go there, Lori Smith, Training Coordinator at Direction Home, will present to Council on Aging as an Art Form.
Thank you, Council, for having me here this evening to share this newer program that Direction Home has. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Lori Smith, the Training Coordinator with Direction Home. I've been with them for almost 12 years now. And if you are not familiar with Direction Home, who we are and what we do, we are one of 12 area agencies on aging throughout Ohio, one of more than almost 650 area agencies throughout the nation. Ours is structured as a nonprofit, and the overall crux of what we do is provide services and supports to older adults and people with disabilities and their care partners with services and supports that help keep them in their homes wherever they want that to be. If it's in their own community home, if it's in an assisted living, senior apartment building, wherever that might be. So if it's something they need, if they need extra nutrition, and it's something like bringing Meals on Wheels or Mom's Meals in, we can connect them with that service. Transportation to and from doctor's appointments. We can help get them in-home, hands-on care to help them bathe, whatever they need to do, dress, help with finances. And that is mostly what we do, and then we have care managers who coordinate all that care, so it takes that burden off their shoulders. So when most people call us or any area agency, they need help, and they're in a stressful position, right? So of course we want to address those needs, but we also want to be proactive in what people need. And this is where Aging as an Art Form started. So before COVID, we were having a meeting about taglines and how we were going to get information to the community out about what we do, how we can help. And Aging as an Art Form came up as a tagline. And we said, yeah, that sounds fantastic, but you know, that can really be built out into a program. So we started, much like the Blessings boxes, right before COVID, and we wanted to empower older adults to stretch their creative muscles and not just contact us when there is a need, but allowing them to be part of the community in a different, fun, and engaging way that helps their cognitive muscles, their physical muscles. So we partnered with Summit Art Space, and we offered month-long classes in a variety of art forms with the idea that at the end of that month, they would have created something that Summit Art Space would then display in a gallery. And we would invite our legislators and our community to come down and see these amazing creations that our older adults have made. Well, COVID hit, and we scrapped that plan, but it was quickly flipped to online. We offered the classes virtually. Summit Art Space said, yes, we can do a virtual gallery. They tracked the hits, and it was great. So COVID went on. We kind of tabled Aging as an Art Form, but last year we really started to revisit the idea and how can we reach these older adults in a fun way that is creative and engaging and really building community. And we landed on a senior prom. And we had it in Talmadge at the venue. And I wish I had brought slides to show pictures, but it was so much fun. And we had almost 100 people there. We offered it for free through the generosity of partners who did sponsorships and donors. And we came and they got a buffet dinner. And they danced to music provided by a DJ. And we had an art station set up so they could create a little masterpiece. And there was a photo booth that they took their pictures and got to take the printouts home. And as we were closing up that night, we had people sitting in the lobby asking when we're going to do it again. So we're doing it again next Wednesday because our area agency provides services throughout Summit, Stark, Portage, and Wayne. Last year we did it in Summit. This year we're taking it to Canton. We are almost at capacity again, and I opened it up to 175 seats this time. So we're looking forward to that. But along with Senior Prom, it was always my idea not to just have one big annual event, but to offer continuing programs. So we came up with Stitch for Good, where people who knit and crochet and create things like that can bring their scrap yarn, or people can donate their yarn and sewing notions, and we create sensory blankets and sensory items for people who have dementia. And then once those items are created, we donate them to memory care units and other organizations that work with people who are experiencing dementia or their care partners, anything like that. So we're really excited about that project. And then that led to, we did a partnership with the Canton Ballet called Silver Steps. And they came in and did a 6-week ballet movement-based falls prevention program that was a hit. And I'm already trying to bring them back for the fall. We came up with a series called The Art Of, where we were initially talking about how can we teach financial literacy to our older adults. And I said, well, why can't I wrap that into The Art Of and call it The Art Of Finances? And within that, how to stay safe from scams, how to plan for your retirement, how to wisely spend your retirement, and things like the art of art, where we get to go to the Akron Art Museum and see the pieces there. They can bring something in and do art tours. Part of that, later this month on the 20th, we are taking a small group of folks to E.J. Thomas Hall for a showing of the Remember Balloons Live, where that's a stage production based on a children's book where a child watches his grandfather experience dementia. His memories are represented as balloons that are floating away. So we're taking a small group to see that. And we're really enjoying the feedback we're getting. We are offering surveys after each of these events to see, hey, how do you enjoy these offerings? Do you feel more connected to your community? What are the benefits you're feeling? What do you want to do? Because again, as our previous speaker mentioned, we need to see what you want. I don't want to speak for you. So far the feedback we've gotten back is incredibly positive. Our attendance is rising exponentially. We would like to flip this into an evidence-based program. I would like to see the outcomes. We know the cognitive benefits from multitudes of studies, but I would like to see, especially in creating what the fine motor skill improvements would be, so we're looking at that angle. And along with that, it also gets Direction Home's name out there in a new, different way. So it's not just needs-based, it's something that we can connect with you on a fun, engaging level. We're big on know us before you need us, and that's a way we can do that. So people have engaged with us in these creative spaces, and now when they do need us, they know us. And now it's not so scary to reach out to Direction Home. So that's what I wanted to share. I'm open to questions. I also brought information on Direction Home as a whole and the Aging as an Art Form program, but I can take questions if you'd like.
Any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so my mom was 92 when she passed, and she had Alzheimer's. And we'd go, when we were over there at her house, she always wanted to see our iPads. Mm-hmm. So we ended up putting her on Facebook, and we ended up getting her own iPad, and she liked watching cooking videos, music videos, the dancing, and that entertained her for hours. Mm-hmm. Well, then she started finding a way on her own, all on her own. She started sending friend requests to all kinds of people. She was getting, and so my mom became very popular on Facebook. They're like, hey, is this your mom? I'm like, yes, just accept it. So it became funny, but she spent hours all by herself. She figured out how to get music on there. She literally watched cooking shows or anything like that. And she was 92. So, I just thought I'd share that because I think that iPads and Facebook and stuff like that really do help somebody that is aging.
Yeah, and especially for somebody who is more homebound. It helps them feel more connected. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Members of the committee or members of council? May I have a motion?
All right, thank you.
So moved.
Motion from Councilman Wilhite. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, there was no motion. There was no motion.
Well, then I take it back.
All right, sorry, I'm getting ahead of my skis this evening. All right, well, thank you, Ms. Smith. First item, 2026-165, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Nesco Resource LLC for payroll services for the period of 10/1/26 through 9/30/27 for the various youth and adult employment programs, including summer youth and year-round programs, with 3 options to renew for additional 1-year terms in an amount not to exceed $2,999,958.52 for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services and declaring an emergency.
Good evening. Tom Jalbert, Executive Department of Job and Family Services. As you remember, our third-party payroll processing was recently put out for a bid. Nesco was the only responsive bidder, and we'd like to move forward with the contract with them. This includes 3 annual renewals, and we do have 10-plus years of positive experience with them, so no concerns on our end there. This is a joint agreement with the San Juan COG and combines our CCMEP youth funding as well as Benefit Bridge and TANF funding for our summer youth programs and incentives.
Any questions from members of committee?
One of the questions I have is, over the weekend, I saw that they did a national review of young people and the employment of young people across the country, and it's at an all-time low. How will this program help that here locally? Are we seeing any decreases in young people wanting to participate in it?
So
Where are we?
Interesting with that, we are actually doing another agreement, a small agreement with Summit Education Initiative to do a survey of our CCMEP youth and their work experiences throughout the year. So we'll have those results, I think, later this year, early next year. As far as the other question, I'm not exactly sure, but we can get you the answer to that.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from members of the committee or members of council? Now may I have a motion? Motion from Councilman Lacotte. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 2026-166, a resolution declaring the month of June 2026 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month in Summit County, and to raise awareness about Alzheimer's disease and other brain diseases and dementias for the executive and declaring an emergency. Hi.
Hello. Sorry, we're new here, so we
That's
didn't know
all
we
right.
were supposed to be up already.
Nope, just tell us your name.
I'm Katya Wilkins, and I am the Walk to End Alzheimer's Manager for the Akron Walk.
Good evening. I'm Nikayla Brooks. I am the Program Manager, so everything education for Greater East Ohio with a focus on Summit County and Portage County.
And we're here to tell you a little bit more about Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. It does seem like some of you have had experience with family members that have had this disease, but it affects about 11% of our population 65 and above. And with our population getting older, there's really no avoiding it at this point. So Nikayla will tell you a little bit more about the distinction between dementia and Alzheimer's, and I'm going to fill you in on what we can kind of do to help, but I'll let Nikayla start.
Thanks, Katya. I'm not going to get into what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia, because just a quick raise of hands, has anyone in this room experienced, they knew someone, know someone with any form of dementia? It runs pretty heavy in my family. My only living grandmother, my mom's her caregiver for. And, you know, just to talk about, it's not a normal part of aging. I know everyone got these facts and figures sheet, and something that really stood out to me when I came to the organization that I learned is that Alzheimer's kills more than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. People don't really know that. You know, we talk about breast cancer a lot. We talk about prostate cancer and other different diseases, but we don't talk about dementia a lot. 2 out of 3 people living worldwide with a form of dementia is a woman. African Americans are twice as likely to have a form of dementia. Hispanic Americans are 1.5 times as likely to have a form of dementia. And my son's grandmother has dementia. He's 17, and he has a lot of questions. He has, he's wondering why she's not the same. And that's why I came to the association, because I think everything starts with education. Early onset is becoming a lot more prevalent in our community, which is why our kids have to be educated. Our younger adults have to be educated, because those are the caregivers for grandma and grandpa, aunt, uncle, mom, dad. And that's why we offer resources, education, support to not only the people living with the disease in the community, but also their caregivers. I did not pass this out, but I will give this to her. There are our support groups, our caregiver support groups all throughout Greater East Ohio. We do work with the Cleveland Greater East Ohio chapter, but I only cover Greater East Ohio, so you won't see Cleveland in here. You only see Greater East Ohio. But I think we all need a safe space sometimes to vent, cry, get ideas, and just to know that we're not on this island by ourselves. My mom comes home with a story every day. She's frustrated. She wants to quit my grandma every day, but she's not, because it's hard. It's hard, it's stressful, and we need support, and we have to talk about it. We offer free education programs to the community. We have about 10 different topics you'll see in that packet, our education programs. We can come do lunch and learns. I'm in churches, YMCA's, libraries, corporate businesses, wherever there's a group that meets, we can come and speak. So we have our 1-800 helpline. You don't get an AI representative. You don't get a voicemail. You get a live person. We have over 300 languages, so language barrier is not an issue. And there's a great resource. Our social workers do our care consultations on that helpline. So our education programs, we have other support services in the community and ways to get involved. In every community, we have our Walk to End Alzheimer's, and Katia will talk about our Akron Walk. But I do have cars as well. I can also leave. I can come to your job. I can come to your church. If you have a Bible study group, maybe you're part of a women's or a guys group, maybe you're part of a fraternity and sorority, I can come and speak there as well. Because again, it starts with education, and knowledge is power. All of our resources are free, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be talking about this terrible brain disease. Just a couple other statistics. Nearly 13 million Americans provide unpaid care for people with Alzheimer's and dementia. Caregivers are having to go and work late, call off, or quit their jobs altogether because of the demanding needs of caregiving. So that's where we come in. We don't want the employment rate is already low. We don't need anyone else to be calling off of work or quitting their jobs because they don't have support and they don't have the services that they need. So that's where we come in. Please call me, email me if you want to set up any kind of education program. I work on Sundays, Saturdays, doesn't matter. I could come and speak wherever. And Katia will talk to you about our fundraising efforts.
Yes. It's a lot of information, but all of the things that we do are free for the community. And we maintain these community aspects for free by our fundraising efforts, which include the Walk to End Alzheimer's. The Akron Walk is one of the top 5 in the whole state. I'm very proud of that fact. And it's open to anybody in Summit or Portage County. It's free to register, and we encourage fundraising and just a community of people that have dealt with this disease or are hoping for a future without it. This year we are hosting at Lock 3, so we really love working with the city and with the community members. At Lock 3, we're going to be working with the Akron Children's Museum, which is right there, and hopefully some other businesses. And the walk is going to be on Saturday, October 10th this year. And I do have flyers. I passed them out to all of you. And then if anybody in the audience would like a flyer as well, we have those. And just a really fun day where we celebrate how far we have come because we do finally have treatments. We have blood tests to test for Alzheimer's, but it's also a way to remember the people that we've lost to this disease, because at this moment, unfortunately, Alzheimer's is 100% fatal. So we have to work together in order to have better treatments and one day find a cure. And hopefully we can do that by attending the walk and connecting with Nikayla about the education programs, because like we said, everything is free. And if there's any questions, please let me know, but I really appreciate you having us here, and I appreciate the resolution to officially recognize June as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from committee members or from council?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say I appreciate your energy and all your efforts to support people that are, you know, caregivers or encountering this unfortunately very relevant disease. I wanted to ask if I could have your card since you are both engaging speakers, and then I would like to be a co-sponsor.
Okay. Council as a whole?
Thank you.
All right, council as a whole. Any other questions from members of the committee or council? May I have a motion?
I'll move.
A motion from Councilwoman McKinney. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
2026167, a resolution declaring Monday, June 15th, 2026 as Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Summit County, and encouraging residents to participate in any events and programs designed to raise awareness of and prevent the abuse of older adults for the executive, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. My name's Kathy Rufner. I'm a Deputy Director with Job and Family Services under the Executive's Office. I oversee our Adult Protective Services program. And I just want to give you some numbers and information to go along with that. And I love that before me were providers of services that relate to seniors, and so I feel like this all ties in very nicely. We're required to operate a hotline 24/7, 365 days a year. In your folder that Ms. Willis just provided you with, there's a card in here. Our hotline last year for 2025 took almost 3,000 phone calls with allegations of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Of those, we screened in over 900 cases for investigation purposes. And the main maltreatment category for that was self-neglect, followed by exploitation. And we've seen a rise in exploitation cases across not only Summit County, but across the state of Ohio as well, due to the scams and online and phone, and I'm sure you've all heard stories from people within your wards about those. I also wanted to share that at the end of last year, we were awarded a grant from the state of Ohio as an innovative grant. We were one of 6 counties chosen, and we received $50,000. And as part of that grant, we updated our we're in the process of updating our memorandum of understanding with law enforcement and community partners. And the memorandum is to delineate and explains out the roles and responsibilities when there's abuse and neglect cases. This was initially established back in 2015, and so it's obviously time to update that. And so also in your packets, there's a flyer for the re-signing of the MOU and training that's going to be provided for law enforcement and first responders. We're also doing an awareness campaign as part of that funding. Right now, Metro buses do have a campaign with our hotline and information to contact us. And the other part of this is a pilot project called Differential Response. There's also a flyer in your folder that explains that. Basically, when a case is called into our hotline, a case can be screened in or screened out. When a case is screened out, we do not contact the person or conduct an investigation. If the case is screened in, if it's an emergency, we have 24 hours to investigate, to initiate. If it's non-emergency, we have 3 working days. As part of that's a typical traditional case. And we knock on the door unannounced, uninvited. They're not expecting us in a traditional case. Through our pilot project, we are contacting the person by phone, and these are for your lower level cases. It wouldn't be serious physical abuse cases, sex abuse. These are for more of your self-neglect cases where we're going to go out and try to offer services. So we call them, see if there's a convenient time for us to come to the home, make contact with them, talk with them about the referral, and offer them services. And then we were just awarded another grant through ACL and WRMA for an APS opioids pilot project. We were one of 5 adult protective services programs across the country that were selected for this. And so we will be receiving a total of $200,000, which was the maximum grant amount. And there's also the press release with all the information in there, so I won't bog you down with a lot of those details. But we're very excited to get started with that. The WRMA team has an implementation team that will assist our adult protective services staff in working with seniors and their families, caregivers, or alleged perpetrators when there could be a substance abuse disorder identified. And so with that, I would ask that you support the proclamation for June 15th and join us in wearing purple.
Thank you. Any questions from members of committee or council? Council as a whole? May I have a motion?
I'll move.
A motion from Councilwoman McKinney. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And if there's no other business before Health and Human Services Committee, I'm going to adjourn us at 5:32.
At 5:32, I will call the Committee of the Whole to an order. May I have a motion to go into executive session? We'll be discussing security arrangements and emergency response protocol for Summit County offices and pending litigation, Katz Construction, Inc. versus County of Summit, Ohio. Motion by Councilwoman Walters. Can I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hyam. Mr. Donofrio. Mr. Cajun. Ms. Dickinson.
Aye.
Mr. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Wilhite.
Aye.
Ms. Darrow. Mr. Lacotte.
Aye.
Ms. McKinney.
Aye.
Ms. Walters.
Aye.